Our training presentation today, it is on using Canvas to teach your mixed courses, those mixed courses that are going to have a combination of face-to-face and remote meetings. This training is brought to you by the Office for Academic of Innovation. So thank you so much for joining us. As an overview, this training is going to focus on showing you best practices on how we can customize the template that we get. And you're going to see that there is going to be new enhancements that are going to be deployed on the new template that we're going to have available for the spring semester. So we're going to focus on how we can adapt and customize this template to fit the mixed modality. Some housekeeping items. Your questions are important. Your concerns are important to us. So please feel free to drop your questions, your concerns in the chat right here in your Zoom window. And if for some reason we don't get to your question at the end, there will be some time as well, a couple minutes probably, for you to unmute yourself and ask your questions. And if we don't have time, if we run out of time, or if we don't get to your question, then feel free to find us in our virtual office hours or send us an email as well. Friendly reminder, a lot of our resources that we have available are hosted in our LMS.TAMU.EDU website. You will find resources on making the move from Blackboard to Canvas, different ideas on engaging with Zoom, and training items. That's where we store our video library for Zoom, Blackboard, and Canvas materials, as well as our training schedule. So you can see today is Wednesday, we're focused on the mixed modality. On Monday, we focus on face-to-face. Tuesday, we focus on the face-to-face with remote option. And you can see on Thursday and Friday, we still have the two other modalities left that we will be covering, as well as our office hours in the morning and in the afternoon. Whether you can see Mahindra showing us at the bottom of the schedule, we have organized a little bit better our video library. So we have it divided by Canvas, Proctoring Solutions, Zoom, and eCampus. So that is just so much faster and practical to find the video recordings that you may be looking for. So the main training outcome, we are hoping that by the end of this session that you can identify the best practices for organizing and labeling your Canvas module, your Canvas template to support and enhance the student learning experience in the mixed modality. The mixed modality is the one that combines face-to-face sessions and remote meetings as well. Okay, so now that we are in our course template, this is our practice course, we have collaborated in customizing and making this template our own. So we're going to start with the Instructor module, and as you said, it says do not publish. This is the module that is going to help faculty, and if you are an instructional designer supporting faculty in developing their course, this is also going to be helpful to you on helping customize that module and helping with the graphics. There's a template introduction for the instructor and the designer to understand how this template is going to work and the resources available. And they're going to show links on how to customize it, set your course navigation, review those course settings, and customizing that course card so you can personalize even more that course. We also have the template graphics section that is going to allow you to customize your buttons, your footers, your banner, and then it's also going to allow you to customize those buttons that you're going to have on your home page as well. You're also going to see more documents. These are extras like a template presentation, an infographic template as well that you can make it yours. You can work on your own content utilizing those templates. There is the extra support for instructors that has the information for the Office of Academic Innovation, our contact information, email, and phone number as well. And then we are going to, just as a quick reminder, that instructor module is just for you as the instructor. Do not publish that. It's only instructions for you. And so please remember to keep that one unpublished. Or if you wanted to delete it later after you have put together your course, you can delete it or move that module at the bottom of the list and keep it unpublished. Our template is going to come with a student experience resources as well. Before it was called help and support. If you were familiar with the template that came in the fall semester, it was called help and support. We have changed the name and we call it student experience resources. And this one has compiled the minimum syllabus requirements. As you remember, the Faculty Senate is asking us to have these minimum requirements on the syllabus, so that's presented in there. So there is not going to be any need for you to change anything by that standard that needs to be there for everybody in their course. There's also going to be these very helpful, quick video guides for students on how to understand Canvas, right? Like how to navigate Canvas, how to submit an assignment, how to complete a quiz, and how to check their grades and so on and so forth. Information again about Help Desk Central, how to contact us and get help. And then it's also academic resources. These are university resources to help students be successful. So you can see academic advising, Student Success Center and Math Center and so on. And then this is another piece of item that students get to utilize and still to help them be successful. There is nothing for you to change in here. You shouldn't have to customize it, change it or anything, because these are university resources and they're going to be very helpful for the students. This is a module that you do want to keep published. Like we have it unpublished, but you want to keep this one published because these are resources that are going to be for students, university resources and Canvas resources. So you want to keep that one published for the students. We have added a Start Here module that is not going to come with the spring template, but we really encourage you as faculty to add a Start Here module. That is one of those key items that you're going to see on the course design checklist. Do you have a Start Here module? You need that. That's essential. You should build your own. As an example, we have one in here that has the course overview to give the student that general idea of what the course is going to cover, the about the instructor as well, you know, talk about yourself, talk about your interests, and just show your excitement to teach this course to your students, some course resources that you can place in there, like maybe the textbook that you're going to utilize, and maybe any other websites that you think that are going to be helpful for the class. There is a course question board that we have in here, and this is a place where students can place their questions throughout the semester, any questions that they have about the course, you know, and invite other students as well, that if they think that they have the answer, you know, students can help each other as well, providing answers for their classmates. It doesn't only have to be the instructor providing answers to course questions, unless they have to do, you know, with the grades, something that is like more instructor related. There is an introduce yourself discussion board in here, and that is going to help build that community that we need in this, you know, these days, these difficult times. So have that introduce yourself, allow students to start getting to know each other, give them that space. And we have added a couple extras in this module. It's an academic integrity quiz, the syllabus review, making sure that students have covered and have read the syllabus and understand the syllabus. So just like a quick knowledge check and acknowledgement that they went through the syllabus. And then also the other extra is the semester feedback survey. That's something that you perhaps want to provide at the beginning of the semester. You know, what name do you want to go by? You know, how would you like to be, you know, how would you like to get feedback, right? Like maybe a recording or maybe text, things like that. And then also maybe mid-semester and semester, you want to have some feedback from students as well about how they are doing in the course and how this layout is working for them. And then this is the module template that you're going to see in the spring semester. This has not been customized. It only has, weekly review, weekly activities, weekly review, and it includes content pages at the top for the weekly review. And it includes just a template for weekly activities, a template for an assignment, for a discussion board, and for a quiz. And at the end, another content page that may be utilized as week overview towards the end. So I am going to turn it over to Mahindra. Mahindra is going to show us how we customize this template to adjust it for these type of modality, the mixed modality. So take it over, Mahindra.
Thank you, Deanna, and thank you everyone for joining us today. So the first thing you might be wondering is really, what is the mixed high flex face-to-face remote meeting option, right? It all can be a little bit confusing. And to be honest, it's very similar to what we went over yesterday in the face-to-face and the remote meeting option. The difference here and the key is that in this instance, some meetings are in person, some can be required, some are remote, and it could be for an entire meeting series. So for example, you could require that your lectures are mandatory face-to-face, or perhaps they're mandatory on Zoom, or you could require that your labs be on specific days throughout the week, and this can change. So really you have the flexibility, which is why it's called high flex, to kind of mold it and deliver it in the way in which you see fit that's best for you and your students. And I can think about like a science course. So for example, like in a biochemistry class or cell biology, molecular biology, students are required to attend a live lab in order to understand how to research certain components, right? They need to study and analyze tissue size or understand how wounds heal, and doing that in a remote setting is certainly going to be difficult. So your requirement may be in this high flex model that they attend obviously their labs in that face-to-face on campus environment. You might also hear it called high flex, and I keep saying high flex because I want you to keep that flex in mind. We are using this modality because it allows you the flexibility as the instructor to teach in a way that's comfortable for you, and it also gives some freedom to the students to give them the flexibility to learn in a way that's comfortable for them as well. So we're going to take a look at the module, and we're going to see how it's structured in a way to support this modality. One thing, or actually several things to keep in mind when we're thinking about organizational structure for modules and for the course for that matter, is that we must keep in mind really simplicity and how we structure content and assignments in a way that is really easy for students to access and easy for them to navigate, and in a way that supports their learning, whether that's in a face-to-face classroom. And we talked about this on Monday, in a face-to-face classroom, you're going to add some materials here that help to extend the learning outside of the classroom when they're not with you. And also in a fully functioning online environment. So we want to make the course and the modules themselves as simple and concise as possible. And 3 things that we should consider, and Deanna's gone over this the last 2 days, when we're thinking about the overarching modular methodology, are communication, empathy, and simplicity. So we're going to talk about communication first and foremost. So your course should begin with this introductory module. And I'm going to hop back up here for just a moment because Deanna and I felt it was really important that we talk about this introductory module. And you can certainly structure it any way that you see fit, but we really felt like the course overview page was where you had control over introducing your students to the course, right? You're kicking off the course, you're welcoming students to the course. It's in this course overview page that you are going to be listing your overarching objectives for the course. You're listing your expectations here. Depending on your modality, here's where you might want to define what the modality is and your expectations, and when you're going to be meeting face-to-face, when you're going to be meeting in Zoom, and when you're going to be working online as individuals or in groups for that matter. It's here that communication is so important, because right from the start, your students know they're informed of the expectations for the course, right? And they have a place that they can always return to and go back to. Another method of communication are the announcements. So you can also list your modality here for your students and your expectations. And as an instructor, you can actually pin your announcements so that your announcements are the first thing that students see when they enter your course right on their dashboard. And then another piece of communication that's super, super important is the inbox. And we don't really spend a lot of time talking about the inbox, but it's just like an email within Canvas. Please use the inbox to communicate with your students. You can do so with the entire class, or you can do it for individual students, like if they're missing assignments, or just a welcome to the course if you'd like to use that method for communication. The other thing that we'd like to talk about is having empathy, and Deanna had kind of already talked about that. So when we're modifying our course modules and the actual Canvas course, we need to think about our students and placing ourselves in their shoes and thinking about how they might be able to engage with their colleagues in the course, how they're going to engage with you. And so we can be empathetic by providing them with opportunities to have discussions. And here you'll see within this module, we've listed an opportunity for under a remote heading section to have a group discussion outside of the classroom. And you can even assign a group discussion here while they're with you on campus in the face-to-face environment. You can also provide them with opportunities to work in groups. Deanna had touched on this the other day. You can create small groups within your course and allow them to work together to collaborate. So thinking about that opportunity for student engagement there with the discussions. The next thing I want to talk about is using Zoom. Since this is a mixed environment, face-to-face, you'll have an opportunity to meet your students in a Zoom environment. So there is another form of communication, and also another opportunity for them to maybe work in breakout rooms together and to collaborate in the Zoom environment. And you could also add a section here for when you are meeting on Zoom, and you could simply do so by adding a separate heading, and I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. It's really easy to kind of differentiate your content and your activities here within this modular structure. And then lastly, we want to talk about structural simplicity, right? Simplicity meaning that however you set up your initial module, you want to mirror that throughout your course. You want to make sure that your headings are remaining the same, that you're using the same indentation here, and you can kind of visually see that this is easy to look at. I can see that my headings are separating sections within my module and separating the content within the module. And I think of it kind of like a sandwich, with the top weekly overview being an introduction to the week, and then the bottom section, that wrapping up section, is enclosing that content within that module, right? So we begin with the overview, which is here's what we're covering in this week, or here's what we're covering for this particular content. And in that overview page, you'll have your objectives for the week, or the objectives for this particular unit of study. And then you will have a list of your readings perhaps there on that overview page. And then the meat of the sandwich would be your remote materials. So you might have a few pages of content, and your lecture materials that you could pass out in hard copy form in class could also be listed here for students to access when they're out of the classroom. You also have opportunities to have assignments. So your assignments should be reflective of your objectives, right? They need to align with your objectives of that week. You can have group discussions, individual discussions. You might even have a quiz. So a way for you to assess your students' knowledge to make sure that they are learning the material, and then also providing them with opportunities to perhaps go back and review the material and thinking about if your students aren't understanding, what can we place within this module that will allow them to go back and reflect upon or relearn the material, or if you have students that are ready to move on, give them opportunities to extend their learning. And then at the end of the week, providing them with a wrap up. Here are the assignments that we should have completed over the week. Here, again, maybe a rephrasing of the objectives. And then something that we've always suggested is an opportunity to provide your students with some feedback. How are they feeling about the course? What are some things that maybe we could change to help support them in their learning, and that sort of thing. So I want to point out, let's look at the structure again, because this is really where I want to show you how to add and edit things. So you see that we've got these headings here, and you're going to modify and change this however you see fit, depending on your modality. If you wanted to add a separate heading, for example, if you wanted to list where you want to have your Zoom meetings, you click the plus sign in the top right-hand corner. And you're going to choose from this little drop-down arrow here. It defaults to assignment, but we are going to make that a text header. A text header is just an area for you to type like a subtitle or a topic. So I might say Zoom meetings. Now, it defaults to don't indent, but here we can differentiate between the headings and the assignments, right? So it gives our students a visual cue of something that they need to do, right? So since this is a text header, I'm not going to indent it at all. I'm just going to click add item. Anytime that you add to your module by clicking on this plus sign in the top right-hand corner, the item will come in towards the bottom. So you just click on these 6 vertical dots here, or 8 rather, and then just move it where you see you need to be. Have it moved, or what makes sense for you as far as organization is concerned. In order to add to that particular text header, you are free to move things around if you've already created them, or you could add something else. So if I wanted to add a page with just maybe a list or a schedule or a calendar of when my Zoom meetings are, I could go to plus in that top right-hand corner again. And this time I'm going to say page. And I'm going to give it a name. And I might say, start here. Schedule, if I can type. This time, I might want to indent it. You can indent by 1, 2, or 3 levels, okay? I've seen some faculty members differentiate their quizzes or their assessments and exams from the other assignments by indenting it like by 3. And then students get used to seeing that, oh, a quiz is the one that's indented way over here and everything else is aligned there with that 1 indent. So making sure that you've really created that simple modular view is going to be so important. Pointing out to them perhaps in the announcements what these icons mean. So we know that the little page here means it's a page. So it might be something that you've got content on, or you've embedded a video or images. And then the little discussion bubbles mean that they're going to have a discussion and you expect them to respond to their peers. And then lastly, this little rocket ship here informs them that there is going to be a quiz. And then if you're curious to see what the student view is, I invite you to go to the home page. And then on the right-hand side, there's going to be a section for student view. Okay. This allows you an opportunity to see what they're seeing. Okay. Here they see that home page. It's going to have all these nice buttons that we've created for you. Here you might even want to do a brief introduction because this is their landing page. This is their first introduction to your course. And you could even add a link to that course overview module that gives them even further direction on your expectations and objectives in the course. If I go to that modular view, this is what they see, and you use it as an opportunity to see if you have things that are published or unpublished, right? to see if you like the way that it looks and the way that you've organized it. Notice also the internal navigation column here is very, very simple. The instructor view is going to list all of those resources there for you because we have control over the way that the course looks, right? So our recommendation is to simplify that internal navigation for your students, perhaps hide assignments because we want them to go to our modules to access their assignments. But here you can see what they're seeing, and I think this is so important for them to be able to use. And we're going to leave our student view. And I'm just going to go over and summarize some of our key things to think about. And really the takeaway today is think about communicating with your students, allowing some empathy, and making sure that you've got a simple, easy to navigate course with resources that align to their course objectives. And that is all that we have for you today. And I think we're going to use the rest of the time, Deanna, to open it up for some questions if anybody has any specific questions about this modality.
To learn more, please visit LMS.TAMU.EDU or email us at aihelp@TAMU.EDU. Thank you.